Welcome to Movie Talk Mondays. I am your wonderful, amazing, cool, and courageous host, C's Moreau, here to talk all things cinema. So this week we're going to start off with Saw X. Yep, you heard me right, the 10th Saw film in the Saw series. And this film brought in $29.6 million over the weekend with a modest budget of $13 million. 83% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, again, just for you guys that don't watch the C's Monroe show, I want to explain something to you. Rotten Tomatoes scores are not based off 1 to 10 ratings. They're really just based off if 100 people went to see this movie, 83 people said that they recommend watching the movie. Other than that, there's no rating system there. It's just letting you know that people are saying they would go see this film or you should see this film. All right, so that is Saw X. Our next film we're going to get into is The Creator. Now, I want to tell you guys a little something. I've seen this movie back in May at an advanced screening, and honestly, I felt like the movie was missing a lot. Not as far as the acting goes. I felt like it was... the plot just wasn't there for me. Again, it wasn't as interesting as you would want it to be. Not saying that they made it interesting in the trailers, because I honestly feel that it wasn't something that interests me from the beginning. But watching it, John David Washington is one of my favorite actors, especially right now in Hollywood. So watching it and seeing him in this film, I thought he did a great job. But honestly, this plot, it just wasn't, it wasn't necessary. It wasn't needed. Either way, that film grossed $32.3 million on an $80 million budget. Now, again, I've seen worse. We've all seen worse. But this movie is going to have a hard time making its money back because it's not as action-packed as you want a sci-fi film to be. Anybody that's thinking about AI and robots taking over the world, we're going to go back to our Terminator Judgment Day days, and this is what we think about when we hear AI taking over the world. Like, this was more of an emotional film, and I feel like it was more of like sci-fi drama versus anything else. So again, you do with that as you will. Rotten Tomatoes percentage 68%. So again, out of those 100 people, 68 are saying that they will recommend you watch it. Paw Patrol took in $47.4 million this weekend on a $30 million budget. Kudos, this is the second film in their series. I feel like Paramount has something on their hands here, because obviously this film had little to no marketing and it came out and did great. So there you go. Dumb Money is a film. It was on limited release a couple weeks ago. Again, I was able to check it out a couple weeks ago. We are in week 2 technically. Well, no, we'll technically be in week 1. This is the first week that it was officially released wide. So it took in $8.1 million this weekend. Well, not this weekend, for its original run on a $30 million budget. The thing I feel like what's happening here, it's a great story. The film was shot great. It looked great. It was entertaining. I think the problem with this film is it's just too early. This just happened in 2021. So them putting this film out now was just a rush. I get it. We want to stay on current events. Not with film. That's something that could have been avoided. And it probably should have waited for about another 5, maybe even 10 years later. Kind of like what Social Network did when Facebook was at hit its peak back in 12, 13, somewhere around there. And Social Network film came out after it was based on the book actually. So I feel like they should have did that instead versus 2 years later, here we have a movie. Like, it wasn't enough to build on, and I feel like that's why people aren't as interested as people actually think this film will be interest to people. That, and I feel like the marketing isn't there for it as well. Next on our docket, we're going to be talking the actors strike. Now, we just settled up the writer's strike a couple weeks ago, which is going to kind of affect us in the long run. Well, not me personally, but the people that watch TV and film at home, they are going to be more affected by this. I'm a cinema guy, so I can really care less about that. But as far as the actors strike and them not clearing the deal right now, that's obviously going to affect us for a very long time, depending on if things get done the right way. They're in negotiations. They'll be back meeting this Wednesday, October 4th. So this Wednesday, they'll be back meeting. So I'll talk to you guys about that next Monday. But right now, I feel like people are getting confused because they're not talking about the big actors. We're not questioning if Mark Wahlberg or John David Washington or Denzel Washington is getting a check. We understand that they are. This is for the hundreds of thousands of people that's working alongside them in these films, in these series, in these commercials. All these people, all these things play a part. So this is what they're working on. So hopefully they come to a deal this Wednesday. If not, I'll let you guys know more about it next week. Well, that is all for this week's episode of Movie Talk Mondays. I am your host, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more C's Monroe. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next week. Peace.